Welcome to the January virtual Lunch and Learn. This Lunch and Learn will review a few new features as well as some underutilized features in Google Docs, Classrooms, Slides, and Forms that you may or may not know exist. Reminder that Lunch and Learns do count for professional development hours, so I will link a form to obtain a CE certificate at the end of the video. I am making this video in ScreenPal, which allows video analytics and hosting so we can track who's watching for your PD credit. Side note, before we begin, if you do like the setup of this video and want to use ScreenPal in class, we do have a premium team account that allows you to host students and track student viewing analytics. If you'd like help with that, please reach out and I'd love to help you set that up. In the end of this video, there will be a 5-question quiz that will act as your PD credit. There will be an opportunity for an extra half hour of credit that will be posted directly on Google Classroom. Just look for Lunch and Learn Plus if you'd like the extra half hour. The video is set up in sections starting with Google Classroom, Google Docs, Slides, and finally Forms. So feel free to skip ahead and rewatch what you need to. And if you see anything that you would like a deeper dive on, please reach out. I'm here in Google Classroom to show you 5 new features as of 2024. Number 1 is practice sets. Practice sets are digital worksheets built into Google Classroom that incorporate adaptive learning techniques for students. Practice sets are housed in the Resources tab on the left navigation bar. This bank will hold all of your created practice sets and your video activities to assign to your students. A practice set is essentially a digital worksheet that will give students immediate feedback on their answers, and you can build in hints and external resources like YouTube links to help the students master the questions. Similar to a Google form, it does have the power to auto-grade for immediate feedback for the teacher and student, which makes it perfect for homework or exam prep. I do have a full video linked here if you'd like to see how to create and assign a practice set, as well as what it looks like from the student and teacher perspective. Feature number 2 are video activities. These also live in the Resources tab with your practice sets. Why I love video activities is because the students don't have to leave Google Classroom to complete it. It looks very similar to Edpuzzle, where you can build in questions throughout your video or your YouTube videos. Video activities and practice sets will give the teacher insights on frequently missed questions and reteach opportunities. And I also have a quick video linked here on how to create a video activity from scratch and how to assign it to your students. Feature 3 is housed in the People tab of your classes. When you navigate to the People tab, you will see all of your students, but now there's a button for groups. So this is a great differentiation feature that Google has incorporated to allow teachers to create groups for projects, groups for maybe each class period, maybe for A-Day, B-Day, scaffolding projects, or reinforcing skills. What I love about this feature is that you can assign the same student to multiple groups if you want. You can create groups very easily. You can name them in a way that makes sense to you, and it helps declutter the classwork feed if you're assigning different aspects of an activity to only selected students. Definitely check out student groups and how they can help organize your instruction more efficiently. Feature number 4 also lives in the People tab. So you're going to see above the People and Groups button, a button for Share Link with Guardians. The Share Link is not necessarily new, but the Guardian summaries are. So if you pop over to your class settings, you'll see Guardian summaries when you scroll down, and you'll want to make sure that that's turned on if you want to allow Guardian summaries. Once this link is shared out via Parent Square or email, it will prompt the parent to accept the invite. They'll get to determine whether they want daily or weekly summary notifications. It will send them a list of the classwork for that day. They can then click on the assignment, look at the instructions, and also see their student submissions. What they won't see are any grades that you've given so far, but I do think it's a great feature to start those discussions with parents about lower grades or maybe missing assignments. The last feature I want to show is automatic draft grades for missing assignments. So within the same class settings page, look for draft grades for missing assignments. You can pop in a 0, a 1, a 2, a 50, or whatever you choose into this box. Now when you go to grade in Google Classroom, Classroom will automatically assign that grade to those who have not submitted by the due date. The students will not see the grade until you return the work to the student, just like any other Google Classroom assignment. And I hope that this will save you time grading missing submissions. It also allows you to customize an incomplete or missing grade to a specific number. And that's really it for Google Classroom. I hope that you found at least one new feature in Google Classroom that will help streamline your process. Let's take a look at some of the new features in Google Docs. Number 1 is voice typing. If you're not using this, you can save a ton of time creating lengthy documents. Head to the Tools menu and then select voice typing, or you can use the keyboard shortcut provided to start dictating. Once you hit that microphone, it should turn red to indicate that it's recording and what you say will be typed on your document. You can then use your mouse and keyboard to edit as you go or pause as needed. Feature number 2 is a pretty new feature for e-signatures. Here I have pulled up an old player contract from my coaching days. I would typically print this, pass it out, and expect them to have it back by the end of the week. But now you can send contracts or documents digital for signatures. And I can do that to both the player and the parent on the same document. Navigate to the Insert menu and select e-signature, and then choose which field you want to apply by dragging and dropping the signature fields. I can drag multiple if I need to, and then you'll notice that when I click on the field, it will allow you to assign or manage the signatures. So I'm going to label each signature field as either student, player, parent, coworker, whatever. And then I'm ready to request a signature. So when you hit the Request Signature button, you'll be prompted to search for your user or type their email address in. You are able to attach up to 10 signees on one document. And Google said they are working on a feature to complete this in bulk, but for now it is a great feature for collecting signatures in smaller numbers. Feature number 3 is the new document tabs located on the left side of your Google Doc. If I expand this outline menu, you will see the words document tabs. You have the option to create a nice outline using headers, and you can do this by navigating to a header and changing the style preset to something other than normal text. You'll notice that the headers will then show up on the outline on the left. The new feature is actually the document tabs, which is essentially like an interactive table of contents. So it allows you to keep similar document pages in one file without having to endlessly scroll or collapse headers to find content quickly. You can add subheadings, you can rearrange your tabs, or even customize the look of your tabs with symbols. This could be a great option for like a unit dump for all of your materials, and then you have nice little tabs and sub-tabs. And I think this is a great feature in Google Docs that we could really use moving forward. Feature 4 is building off of this same document tabs and outline using something called Pageless layout, which is not really new, but it is kind of one of those not as used features that people may not know about. It does allow for further organization of the documents. So to do this, I'm going to head to File and select Page Setup and then Pageless Format. For demonstration purposes, I'll go ahead and select a background color so you can see what that looks like. The real benefit of using Pageless is that you can create collapsible sections and headers within your document. It's also great for proofreading without the distraction of page breaks. And you can still create document tabs in the Pageless view as well. You can even insert cover images to really jazz up your documents. And to do that, you will go up to the Insert menu and then insert a cover image that you can then either upload or search from stock. Feature 5 is SmartChips. I'm going to need to make an entire video on just SmartChips to really go through everything that it can do, but basically you'll get in your Google Doc, type the @ symbol, and Docs will prompt some SmartChip options like names, dates, timers, placeholders, document links, etc. I use this a lot for tracking progress and meeting notes and tagging teachers that I have discussions or work with. You can also tag students on this as well. If you use it for tagging a document, the SmartChips are dynamic, so any changes made to the original document will be reflected when the users click on the SmartChip link. The next feature coincides with SmartChips, but are called building blocks. I would consider these like embedded mini templates. To access these, they usually populate, there's a button that populates at the top of your blank Google Doc, but you can also just type the @ symbol and then scroll down to see all of the building blocks. And there's ones like task trackers, email drafts, progress trackers, and you can even make custom blocks. The last quick feature is text substitutions. So if you head to Tools, Preferences, and click on that Substitutions tab, you can set Google to replace snippets when they're typed in docs, similar to like TextBlaze or other extensions that store text shortcuts, which is absolutely time saver. Let me know if you need a deeper dive into any of the features mentioned in this video. This video will go over some new features in Google Slides, Forms, and Sites. First, let's start with Google Slides. If you have found yourself using Slides Mania or SlideGo or Slides Carnival often, you may be happy to know that Google has finally added a bunch of new templates to the slides. You may have noticed this new icon button up here at the top left of your screen. This is the new Templates button. When you click this button, you will see the Templates menu pop up on the right of your current slide. If you click on one of the templates, you'll see all of the slides that accompany that template. You can hit the Insert All Slides button to insert one of each of those slides in the template provided, or you can click on just one of the slides and drop it into your presentation. If you choose a template, you can then also apply a theme, which will keep the layout, but it will update like the fonts and color choices to match the selected theme. The second feature I want to highlight is adding audio to your slides. It's not a new feature, but I do think it's underutilized, especially with new things coming out like Notebook LM and other audio features that are being incorporated into our learning. So you can add audio to a single slide by going to Insert Audio. Something to note is that you do need to make sure that whatever audio you're using is already in your Google Drive. So once you insert your audio, you're going to see a speaker little icon pop up. The way that we just inserted this audio, it's going to stop when you continue on to the next slide in your presentation. But if you want to continue it throughout your entire presentation, click on the speaker to bring up your format options, uncheck the Stop on Slide Change button. You can also have it play automatically instead of on click if you prefer. And if you think that the audio is too short to cover the entire presentation, you can also loop it as well. The third Google Slides feature is the ability to add a speaker spotlight. So this will allow your viewers to see a live stream of you presenting or speaking through the slides behind you. It's really beneficial if you make your own video content for your students. How are you going to do this? You're going to head to the Insert menu, select Speaker Spotlight, and there's several shapes to choose from, and you are able to edit the shapes to fit within your presentation. You can also add a speaker spotlight to all slides by right-clicking and selecting Add Shape to All Slides. Once you go to Present, any slide that has a speaker spotlight shape will automatically turn your camera on during the presentation. To test it, you're going to hit the slideshow button in the top right, and you're going to get a window prompting you to use the camera in the slideshow or keep it off. This brings me to the next feature, which is recording your slides. So if you decide to record your presentation, the slides will pop up a little camera bubble onto the screen that you can actually rearrange and move around and resize using these buttons at the bottom of your screen. If I navigate to a slide that has a speaker spotlight shape, then the camera is going to automatically pop you into that shape that you've already designated. So it really makes it easy to kind of plan out your presentations if you do use a speaker spotlight, but you don't have to. You can blur your background here, or you can turn your camera off here. When you finish your recording, you can choose to re-record or save to drive. You can access the recording directly from the slide by selecting the record button here, where you can also find the share link and the option to rename the recording or start a new recording. The last feature update I want to highlight in slides are the presentation display options. If you've been a PowerPoint user in the past, you know that PowerPoint has the ability to present on one device while having your speaker notes on your laptop or personal device. So Google did roll this out last year, and it allows you to select presenter view, where your notes will display on your device, and then you can choose the output for your slideshow presentation. Even if you choose not to use the presenter mode, this is an updated way to choose which devices you want to cast your slides to. So right now I'm tethered into an external monitor for my laptop, and I can choose whether I want to display the presentation on my device or on the external monitor. So no longer will I need to play the find and drag game and try to use this trackpad, to drag it to my flat panel or whatever. Okay, let's head over to Forms for one quick Forms update that's brand new. Here's a form that I sent out at the end of last term, and one of my questions was a rating question. So Google just rolled out a new rating question type that allows you to gather quick data. So you can choose your rating system from 1 to 10 and also from 3 different symbols. It is a minor update, but it could be useful for quick knowledge checks or class voting on up to 10 choices. So those were just a few highlights for slides and forms that I hope you will find useful.